College football is so wrong about Bill Belichick. Winning 6 Super Bowls is a lot harder than coaching college football. The traditionalists out there continue to push back that Belichick is going to struggle to adapt coaching college ball, which I don't get that. College football has never been closer to the NFL than what it is today. The portal is the equivalent to NFL free agency. Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL because he's a great evaluator of talent and he's great at developing players that were overlooked. Some of the best players that ever played for the Patriots were undersized and they were low draft picks. And with the amount of money that North Carolina has committed to giving Bill Belichick to win, I expect for a lot of his transfer portal pickups to work. They have a top 10 portal class right now. With the transfer portal being so heavily utilized in college football today, it makes coaching matter a lot more than what it did before it came around. Because you could just win 7-8 games if you had a really good team that you constructed through recruiting. But with the transfer portal now, if you're going to bring in 40, 50 guys, if you are an elite coach, you're going to be able to win with all of these new faces. Because in the NFL, you are overturning a good amount of your roster. And Bill Belichick, not only was he the head coach of the Patriots, but he was also the general manager. So he knows how to build a team from scratch and how to get all of the new faces to come together, get the chemistry down packed, which is why North Carolina should easily be able to run through their schedule this year. The toughest team they play is Clemson. Outside of that, they play 7 teams that finish with losing records. 5 teams that they play in conference play this year finished in the bottom half of the ACC in 2024. And last year, Indiana made it to the playoffs year 1 under Curt Cignetti, and his team was mostly constructed through the transfer portal. And with the way the playoffs is formatted, we're going to see at least one team that has a new head coach that strikes fire early, and they end up getting into the playoffs when nobody expects them to. North Carolina, under Bill Belichick, is this year's version of Indiana. They're going to have a really solid quarterback and Gio Lopez, who was really good last year at South Alabama. And when you got solid quarterback play, it makes it a lot easier to run through an easy schedule like this. Plus, they're going to be way better on defense. You won't be giving up 70 points like how you did against James Madison, that's for sure. And Nick Saban, he modeled Alabama after Bill Belichick's New England Patriots. He has said this several times that Alabama was more so an NFL program than it was a college football program, which is why Bill Belichick knows how to win coaching college football. Yeah, there are certain intricacies that are a little bit different, more so related to the process than it is the on-field coaching. And they always say in college football, it's not always about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. North Carolina has a lot of Jimmies and Joes this year. They just didn't put all of this NIL money for nothing. You know, they went out there. They got some really good portal additions. They got Thaddeus Dixon from Washington, who was an absolute stud last year for the Huskies. And then you also got some really good offensive line pickups. Bill Belichick gets the most out of offensive linemen. He knows what a good offensive line looks like. He knows how to put a winning team together. This is the guy who won 6 Super Bowls. He found the greatest player in the history of football in the 6th round of the draft. So if you can find guys like Brady, Wes Welker, Rodney Harrison, I mean, in college football, it's going to be no different. If you just have a keen eye for talent, it's not going to change whether you're coaching in the NFL or coaching collegiately, and you still have to put together a good game plan, even with having a talented team. I don't think a lot of quarterbacks are going to have success against a Bill Belichick coach defense with the different varieties of fronts and looks that he's going to be throwing at guys. These offenses aren't equipped for a Bill Belichick style defense, especially with a lot of these offenses being dumbed down to being simplistic enough for them to get the playoff fast. They're not going to have any counterpunch against Bill Belichick's defenses. I just don't see how North Carolina doesn't make it to the ACC championship game this year. College football gave a gold-plated road for Bill Belichick to easily win in his first season. Now, if he was playing or if he was coaching in the SEC or the Big Ten and he had to go up against Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, or Georgia, somebody like that, then I wouldn't be as confident. But this is the ACC, and there aren't too many coaches that are good enough to compete with the mastermind that Belichick is, and nor do a lot of teams in this conference just completely out-roster North Carolina. They have recruited pretty well under Mac Brown, and a lot of those recruits are still on the roster. And with the influx of talent that they have coming in from the portal, they should easily be able to run through the ACC. This conference has only about 2 high-level teams, really just one, that being Clemson. Then you got Miami, who has the talent to win this conference, but they don't always play up to it. Then you got everybody else. North Carolina can definitely be in the ACC championship, and if they lose either 1 or 2 games, I can see them getting an at-large bid in the playoffs. The ACC got 2 teams in the CFP last year, so they can definitely get 2 more in this year. And my picks are Clemson and USC, because I'm still a believer in Bill Belichick. Tom Brady did not make him, contrary to popular belief. What often gets forgotten is that Bill Belichick's first year without Tom Brady, or the second year without Tom Brady, they made it to the playoffs with Mac Jones. So if he can make it to the playoffs with Mac Jones in his rookie season, then he has more than shown the ability that he can win without Tom Brady. And he's looking to prove that that's why he took this job. He still wants to show that he is a great coach. He wasn't made by Tom Brady. And I believe that everything that North Carolina has their eyes set on this year, as far as their goals being considered as the 33rd NFL team, hey, I feel like we're going to see that play out on the field this year. I think that the media is so wrong with how they look at Bill Belichick and this North Carolina experiment, because they are stuck in this traditionalist thinking. They said the same thing when Deion Sanders got hired by Colorado and he brought in 40, 50 guys from the portal. Remember, he said he was going to bring his Louis luggage, and the backlash was, oh, you can't build a team this way. Deion Sanders won 9 games last year. So if he can do it, Curt Cignetti can do it, Kenny Dillingham can do it, so can Bill Belichick.